F1 champion Max Verstappen has admitted he expects more teams to challenge himself and Lewis Hamilton for glory this year. The new season starts in Bahrain on March the 20th, and Red Bull and Mercedes drivers remain favourites when it comes to claiming the prize. Verstappen edged out Hamilton when it came to winning the F1 title last year, reigning supreme after a chaotic race in Abu Dhabi. And the two men are expected to jostle for the crown again this term, despite their rivals looking to close the gap. Verstappen and Hamilton's own rivalry has captivated the sport in recent years, however, with the Red Bull star now very much the man to beat. Now, speaking to De Telegraph, the 24-year-old has indicated he expects his rivalry with Hamilton to change due to the other teams and the improvements they've made to their respective vehicles. I think everyone was so eager to win the title that they pulled out all the stops. It was so terribly close, he said. Normally, one team has the upper hand a little more. Then it doesn't have to be so hard and heated. I don't expect it to happen as often as last year, but it showed how important it is to have a good team. That makes me better too. I know I have a team that stands behind me completely, and they know that I always give 110% as soon as I jump in the car. Verstappen, when asked why he was so emotional after beating Hamilton in December, then opened up on his new deal. The Dutchman will earn £40 million annually with Red Bull after penning an extension that runs until 2028. One man who hopes that one day he partners Max Verstappen in the senior seat once again at Red Bull is Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly knows that if he is not a Red Bull driver by the start of 2024, his Formula One future could lie elsewhere. Gasly has made no bones about his opinion that he deserves to be back at the senior Red Bull team alongside Max Verstappen, having been swiftly demoted back to the junior squad after only half a season in 2019. He has since flourished at AlphaTauri, regaining his confidence and subsequently becoming a Formula One race winner after a sterling dive at Monza in 2020, alongside further podiums in what is ostensibly a midfield car. The Frenchman comfortably had the beating of teammate Yuki Tsunoda in 2021, and Gasly's current deal is due to expire at the end of next season. With that, he admitted it's pretty much back to Red Bull or bust for his career with the team, but insists it's too soon to talk about his next step. Helmut Marko has already said it, so it's no longer a secret that I have 1 year left on my contract after this year, Gasly told the Dutch edition of motorsport.com. Then it's clear, either we make the move to Red Bull or not. What happens after that is far too early to talk about that. I'm now focusing on this year that it goes as well as possible. But it is clear that I want to be in a fast car that I can fight with for victories. This is the only thing that matters to me. I want to win races in Formula One, and I need a car that allows me to do that. We will discuss it with Helmut when the time comes. Gasly also spoke previously about potential opportunities opening up in 2023, given that the majority of drivers on the grid are going to be out of contract at the end of the season, prompting what is likely to be a significant reshuffle on the Formula One grid, and the 26-year-old could well end up being one of the drivers on the move if the right seat comes up. After being a regular inside the top 6 drivers in qualifying and compiling his first 100-point season in Formula One last year, Gasly hopes to continue his form into the new era of sport and match his achievements, if not better them. I am very confident, said the AlphaTauri driver. I am very happy with the people I have around me now. I am very happy with my engineers, the way we function as a team, and the responsibilities I have within the team. I must say that I feel good in my skin. I know that I am facing an important year in my career when it comes to taking the next step. Last year was fantastic, and this year I hope to do at least the same, if not more. I want to take this team as far forward on the grid as possible. That's my personal goal. You wouldn't blame Gasly for being bitter about how his time at Red Bull played out, but he remains positive about his time there and driven to regain his place. And McLaren boss Zak Brown believes that Red Bull have ruined a few good drivers by letting them go too soon, naming Gasly as one of those drivers. Although Red Bull's junior program brought the likes of Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen into Formula One, both winning driver championships within the senior team, they, along with Daniel Ricciardo, are the exceptions in having long-term careers within the team. For the most part, Red Bull have done a 2-year deal with the new entrants, drivers given that time to impress with Toro Rosso before either being dropped or making it to Red Bull. But even a move to the latter doesn't guarantee longevity. Just ask Daniel Kvyat, Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon. According to Brown, it is not just Red Bull's Formula One program that can be brutal. Their junior program has also ruined a few drivers. One of those who managed to rise above is McLaren's IndyCar driver O'Ward. The Mexican driver, having dominated the 2018 Indy Lights series with Andretti Autosport, was snapped up by Red Bull, competing in 2 races in Formula 2 and 3 in Super Formula. But with the FIA announcing that the super license points he scored in 2018 in Indy Lights would not be enough to put him on the 2020 F1 grid, he was dropped. He went on to race for Arrow McLaren SP in the 2020 IndyCar season and has remained with the team since. O'Ward was given an opportunity to test an F1 car for McLaren at the 2021 end-of-season test, and Brown has previously said that he hopes to give the driver some FP1 outings in 2022. Brown is surprised that Red Bull let O'Ward go and thinks that this highlights what he deems to be a brutal approach to how the team handled junior drivers. He definitely slipped through the cracks, Brown is quoted by The Race. I think Red Bull, while he was there, they only gave him about 3 races in F2 and Super Formula. But if you look at Red Bull's history, other than Max Verstappen, they have let a handful of great drivers slip through their hands. I think they've ruined a few that I think had it but weren't given enough opportunity. But they won the championship last year. We didn't, so I can't say they don't know what they're doing. But they're a bit brutal. Carlos Sainz is a great example. Daniel Ricciardo had already proven how good he was, but he chose to leave. Sebastian Vettel left. Max is a great story and someone that they found. Alex Albon, Pierre Gasly. Gasly looks like a hell of a driver. They move through a lot of drivers. But while Brown reckons Red Bull was brutal to the Mexican driver, O'Ward said at the time that while he learned that racing is not always a nice sport, and I'm very grateful to Red Bull for the opportunity, it showed me the caliber of person that Dr. Marco is and why he has so much success. Huge respect for him and the whole team. He cared about my future. That means a lot. Things didn't turn out like we expected, but he was concerned about my future, and that is very cool. In terms of O'Ward's likelihood of reaching Formula One, Brown admits there is not going to be a seat opening up in F1 soon, and he is in no rush to push the Mexican onto another category. Now in F1, for the first time, you're allowed to test last year's car because of how big the rule change is. So we want to have a test program for young drivers like we used to have in the past. So having Pato in the family is natural, the McLaren CEO explained. Right now, we don't have any seats available. Lando Norris is under a very long-term contract, so that seat's done. Daniel, we have another couple of years with, so there is no imminent seat available. Other than that, I'm not a believer that you have to be 18 to enter Formula One. Some people believe, okay, if you're 22, you're getting old. I don't think that's the case at all. I think it makes sense to just get Pato some seat time, because you never know. A driver gets injured or gets COVID, stranger things have happened. But what we won't do is compromise the IndyCar team at all. I would never take Pato out of IndyCar to go into F1 without having a great solution. IndyCar is as important as is Extreme E, as is Formula One, to being competitive. So this is not a training ground for Formula One.